breaking free. I set aside my glasses and disrobe down to my homemade full-body swimsuit, swimming cap, and the goggles I keep stowed away in the cottage. I pick up a fishing knife. I go back out into the cold. At the edge of the dock, I stare down at the frigid, rollicking waters of Lake Erie. I hesitate, just a moment. Free. With that promise thrumming in my mind, I plunge into the lake. The shock is brutal. I've swum in this lake before. I have about 2 minutes before I'll need to come up for air. About 10, maybe 12, before cold will numb my limbs and hypothermia will begin setting in. I also know that here, on this island, especially in the lake, 2 minutes is an eternity. And so is even 1 second. Here, eternity can fit into any sliver of measured time. Though frigid, the water feels good sluicing over my face. I revel in the feeling of strength as my arms stroke to pull me downward, my legs kick to propel me on. I need just a minute to locate what I'm searching for. But instead, what comes into view is a figure. Face bloated, arms floating out as if grasping for fish, for water snakes, for me. Reflexively, I gasp, swallow water, flail, swim back, back, back. Chapter 1. I'll always remember my first sighting of Trouble Island. I believe it shall appear in my dreams and nightmares for the rest of my life, emerge before me in odd moments, just as it first materialized through the fog as I stood on the prow of the McGee's small yacht nearly 2 years ago. I'd only just distinguished the shore when Rosita McGee's mansion emerged, as if it floated there on its own, created of mist and water and sky. Rosita's descriptions drifted across my mind. From the veranda, I can see for miles across Lake Erie. The library, so many books. Not that anyone besides me uses it, but you would. The roses out front are so lush that I can smell them from the tennis courts. Such were the wistful descriptions that once spurred visions of what my first trip to the island would be like, swirling images of lightness and laughter and joy and ease. But as it turned out, my only trip was no such visit. It was for my imprisonment. After my first few days on the island, I discovered that there was no angle from which to see the full facade of the mansion. Trouble Island is too small and flat and forested, the mansion too big. No matter how I approached, emerging out of the woods on the singular gravel path that semicircles the southern edge of the island, returning from serving guests at the pool or on the tennis courts, coming back from the small cemetery, I could only glimpse Rosita's mansion in small bits, like puzzle pieces. Fitting, as although I once thought I knew her, Rosita herself had become a puzzle. After that, every time I glimpsed a fragment of the mansion, my first view from the yacht's prow would flash before my eyes. The only time I had seen the facade of the mansion whole. Until an early morning last November, 1931, when everything changed. At first, I thought I'd finally found my means to escape the island. I was taking my last swim of the year in the early morning around the island, which normally took me an hour, but a half hour in, I was too cold, even in my flippers, goggles, and the full swimsuit I'd made. I came out on a patch of grassy beach along the northern edge of the island, just before the shoreline became challengingly rocky. I knew if I kept going, I'd have to swim past the rock-ridden stretch to the north dock, and there was no path from that dock, used for private business.